Usually, many roads lead to Rome. But in real estate, there's a right way to do it, like Barbara Corcoran, for example. She borrowed $1,000 from her former boyfriend, invested it in real estate, and is now worth about $100 million. But there is also a wrong way to invest in real estate. Like this family here in Munich that invested over 500,000 euro into the property in the background, which is a ruin that can be demolished. So they are basically bankrupt because the bank requires them to pay their mortgage. I wonder, what's the difference between those two real estate investors? What separates you from owning $100 million in real estate from owing $500,000 to the bank with €0 in real estate? It's these 9 rules for successful real estate investing that we're gonna discuss now. The first rule for successful real estate investing is that you should set goals. Realistic goals, that is. Because I get it. You want to turn $1,000 into $100 million, just like Barbara Corcoran we talked about just a moment ago. And you don't want to do it over decades, like her, you want to do it overnight. But that's not how the world works. That is social media fake news sold by you to some shady coaches who want to sell you their stupid course. We talked about this in our Real Estate with €0 video, that real estate is a long-term investment and that you need at least somewhat of a starting capital. Always aim for having 10% of the property value in cash, because that are roughly the closing costs here in Germany. It could be as low as 5.5% here in Bavaria, but it can't hurt to have a little bit more than you need. And if you ask yourself how much property you can afford, 100 times your household net salary should be easily possible. So please set realistic expectations for yourself, but also for the property you want to buy. We can probably all agree on one thing. You want a property that cash flows right after you buy it, the best tenant in the world, great location right in the middle of a big city, so property appreciation is but still low price and quite modern. I get all of that. But that's not the reality. Because if you find a property like this with all these attributes, it will be insanely expensive. Let me tell you that. So, try to get at least 80% of your expectations met and don't shoot for 100%. Because if you're looking for the 100% property, you will look forever. Speaking about looking for the perfect property, what type of property are you looking for in the first place? That depends on your personal real estate investing strategy. There are lots of different real estate strategies out there, and all can lead to success if you do them right, of course. And from working in real estate for a little over 7 years now, most clients we work with follow one of these 2 strategies. We have some David the down payers that value cash flow more than equity. These types of investors have a healthy amount of savings they want to invest in a property in the form of a down payment. And of course, if you make a down payment, your mortgage to the bank is lower. So you will receive a positive cash flow sooner. And if you buy a good property in the first place, you might even be cash flow positive from day one. Larrys, on the other hand, like to leverage. Larrys might have some savings as well, but they don't want to invest it in the property. They rather get a 100% mortgage from the bank, so they only cover the closing costs, if possible. It takes Larrys a little longer to reach a positive cash flow compared to David, because they don't make a down payment, but they also need a lot less money to start investing. Like, a lot less. But of course, if you leverage as much as you can with no down payment and little to no cash flow, you can't stop working tomorrow. So Larrys play an even longer game than Davids do. After 10-ish years, they're cooking with the real estate portfolio that they can build over the years, but during that time, they need to continue earning an active income in order to pay all their mortgages. Now that we have your personal real estate strategy mapped out, it's time to prepare yourself properly. Because if the right property comes around, it's not gonna wait for you. And just to make sure that there's no excuse for anyone ever again, here's exactly what you can prepare right after watching this video. Make a folder on your computer and put in the payslips of the last 3 months as well as the payslip of December last year. That helps the bank to get a really good understanding of your income situation. Also, include the Lohnsteuerbescheinigung as well as the last income tax declaration that you have, ideally the one from last year. Why? Because it could be possible that you owe tens of thousands of euros to Finanzamt and that your equity, which is the next point on the list, is not exactly yours because you owe taxes to Finanzamt. Equity. List everything that you have. Bank accounts, savings accounts, investments accounts, pensions, everything. Every euro helps because it improves your loan to equity ratio, which will improve your chances of getting the mortgage in the first place, and it will also improve your interest rate. If you listen closely, which you should always do in our videos of course, I said every euro helps. Most banks will not accept equity statements that you have in India, in the US, or somewhere else in this world. So, if you want to show the bank how good your financial situation is, then bring your equity to Germany. If you have some kind of loan already, a bank wants to know that too. And it's not necessarily that an existing loan kills your real estate dreams. If it's an existing real estate loan, for example, it can be a really good sign because another bank trusted you already before. For the people that buy a property with us or get their mortgage with us, we have a self-declaration form. This really helps us to understand your financial situation into the very detail in order to find the right property. And it also asks all the information a bank wants to know that is not in the other documents. So this is basically the last piece of the puzzle that makes every real estate deal as efficient as possible. And if that sounds interesting to you, you can book a free meeting with us right here, and then we can make your real estate investment as successful as possible too. And the last 2 documents, one is easy to get and the other is probably the hardest to get. Bank wants to know if you are in the private health insurance or not. And they want to know what you will get from the German public pension when you retire. For that, you should get a letter like this every year. If you didn't get it, and just like many other people, order it already because it usually takes months to arrive. If you do these 3 steps, you will be light years ahead of everyone else that thinks he can just stumble into real estate without any preparation. This is the edge that will decide if you get the property you desire or if somebody else will buy it right in front of your face. And speaking about buying a property, that's the next success factor on our list. We talked about it in real estate success factor number 1. The perfect property does not exist, and you should try to find a property that matches at least 80% of your expectations. And as every one of you guys has different expectations, and as all of your financial situations are different, there are also different types of properties that are suitable for different types of people. High earners with more than 67k income as a single or 134k as a married couple may be better off investing in an old property which needs renovations instead of a new property. We talked about that in our 7 real estate tax tricks video. And we also talked earlier about David's, who love cash flow, and Larry's, who love to leverage. And of course these 2 might want to invest in different types of properties as well. Please buy a property that suits your financial situation and do not buy a random property of ImmoScout. This will for sure be a path to failure. Or do you think that Barbara Corcoran, who made $100 million with real estate, would buy on ImmoScout? Don't think so. And of course, if there's a right mortgage for you and you shouldn't buy a random property from ImmoScout, there's also a right mortgage and you shouldn't take the first offer from a random bank. A mortgage is a very, very long commitment. Here's a mortgage that we did earlier this week for a client with 3.4% interest and 1% principal repayment, and it runs for 44 years and 8 months. If that's not long-term commitment, I don't know what is. That's longer than most marriages these days. This is certainly not the standard mortgage and this is not suitable for everyone. But in this case it was fine because the client knows what he's doing and this mortgage is just perfect to illustrate the point of long term. So don't just take any mortgage, because over the next 44 years, or however long your mortgage is running, your life will probably change quite a bit. And then it can't hurt to adjust your mortgage as well. All of this is not easy, especially if you do it for the first time. I get it. And that's why the next real estate success factor is that you should work with experts. Real experts that have gone through the process countless times and own properties themselves. Not some people who pretend they know because the neighbor of their friend's uncle told them so. I am working for 7 years now, every single day, to find the best property developers, best property managers, banks that give the best mortgages, because I know if all of this comes together, real estate is the king of all investments, which gives you a better return on your investment than anything else out there. Now that you bought the first property, you hopefully like the entire process and the property starts making money for you. So maybe you want to go at it again in order to diversify your portfolio. And that's why we usually recommend to start with a small property, 200 to 300k, even if you could afford more. These properties are usually 2 rooms, so it gives you, or the property manager, which we'll talk about in just a bit, the highest chance of finding a tenant. A single person, a couple with a small child that is looking to expand. There are so many options for these small properties. The perfect first investment. And if you don't go all out with your first property, you can buy another one in just a couple of months from now. And another, and another. And I know this might sound a little unrealistic that you buy 1 property or 2 a year, but once you get the ball rolling with your first property, everything gets easier after that. And then you can diversify with different types of properties, different tenants, different locations, because diversification is key to investment success. One very important aspect when it comes to investing, especially real estate investing, is taxes. Renting out properties here in Germany will give you so many tax benefits. It's almost unbelievable. The closing costs when you buy the property, tax deductible. The interest you pay the bank as part of your mortgage, tax deductible. And while your property rises in value in the real world, it loses in value from a tax perspective. That's called depreciation, and depreciation is tax deductible. And the more properties you own, the more tax benefits you will get. This is why every rich-ass real estate investor with tens and hundreds of millions in property value pays less taxes than you or me, even though we only earn a fraction of what these guys make. Now, you can hate on them and you can hate the German tax code, of course, but neither you or me are gonna change the German tax code. So, don't hate the player, hate the game, and try to make the most of your financial future given the rules of the game. And of course the true key to success, because we can probably all agree that Barbara Corcoran does not manage her 100 million real estate portfolio herself. Automate as much as you can. My landlord takes care of everything in this property on his own. And over the last 3 months, he spent hours and hours, day after day, on fixing things here. First there was a broken window, not my fault of course. Then there was water leaking through the roof. Real estate can be very, very annoying. Now all of this is fixable and it doesn't even cost that much money, especially if you have insurance. But the time, ladies and gentlemen, the time. So if you can spend just 20 or 30 euros a month on a professional property management company to take care of all that for you, why would you not do it? Why not rely on people that get better property deals than you can yourself? Why not rely on people that can get better mortgage deals than you can? You just focus on earning the money that you need for real estate, because that will do nobody else for you. And automate the rest with people that you can trust. What did we learn in this video? Investing in real estate successfully is not a coincidence. Successful real estate investors have a plan way before they start buying a property. They follow the plan and execute on it. Real estate is just a lot different than your little 100 euro savings plan in ETFs. Here we talk about hundreds of thousands of euros. And if you like the family in Munich we talked about in the beginning of the video, You will never recover financially from this for the rest of your life. But if you do things right and follow our 9 rules for successful real estate investing, soon enough, you could also have a real estate portfolio worth $100 million. Okay, maybe not that much, but I'm sure you can get to $1 million or $2. And if we can help you with that, then let us know by booking a free meeting with us right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.